Hello, Art Foundations. I'm going to walk you through how to move forward with creating a value-only painting of the still life that you chose for your final painting in this class. So we've been working on, drawing your composition, making sure everything is proportional, using a grid, things that you have been practicing all year long. We know that value makes something look three-dimensional, and it's the same is true with painting. And this is a practice that a lot of artists do when they create a still life or a painting from a reference photograph. I want you to think of value as the backbone of your painting. Color is the personality that catches the eye, evokes emotion. But again, value is that structure and that foundation that's going to give your overall painting depth and dimension. That's what value provides. Even if you've got the most vibrant colors in your photograph, you don't want your painting to appear lackluster, okay? This painting, again, will create depth, contrast, definition. And again, this is going to force you to see the world not only in colors, but in lights and darks as well. So being able to master both of those things hand in hand is important for somebody that is studying how to draw or paint or perceive the world. Okay, so we have a drawing, and now you're going to refer to the black and white copy that you have, and I want you to squint at it and see what is the mediumest value. Okay, so what is kind of like the kind of middle of the road, maybe like your second darkest value. And what I'm witnessing is this little blob right here. Again, I'm not trying to name the parts of what this is. I know that it's a leg. I know that it's pants, but I'm not painting pants right now. I'm just worried about the value, okay? So I am going to paint this blob where I see a darker value. And I'm going to liken the value of this magenta painting to that same value that I see in the black and white. Okay, so this is really forcing you to, see, oh, a highlighter just came into view. It's really forcing you to see this, even though it's like this really nice pink, see this in, just in terms of value as well. Okay. So I'm going to get that blob, and then I'm going to kind of move over here. And I'm still squinting a little bit. That helps you kind of isolate, isolate those bigger shapes of value. Now, the brush that I'm using is called a round. The brushes that you were using to put down your ground is a flat. So you can get a little bit more detailed in corners, like I'm seeing a little bit of a valued edge right here. Now, something like this, I can just like leave the value of the ground, okay? And maybe I'll fill in this. You're essentially creating a map for yourself so that when you do get to the color part of this painting, you will be able to, let's say, mix the color that this is, but making sure that it has the right value to it. And then I'm doing a little comparing too. That's light, this little blob right here, this little sliver, but next to it, that edge is a shade or a value darker. So I'm going to load up my brush. It's a little bit too dark, so I'm just going to kind of dissipate this just a little bit. Because I'm only searching for values, I'm not going to be too worried about these, which I know are the skate laces. I do know that it's the blob of these or the mess of these are making a darker value. So I'm really going to load up my brush, the tip of that round brush. Again, I can kind of generalize this right here. All right, and there's a little bit of a dark. All right, I'm getting a little bit too detailed. I got to kind of take a little bit of a step back. I mean, not literally a step back because I'm sitting, but just kind of take a little bit of a lean back and go, okay, I just need to be kind of focusing on my middle tones right now. And then I'm going to get like a, what am I going to get? Okay, there's like a middle tone right here. There's a middle tone in this wheel. There's a shape right here that is maybe like the second to last dark value. Okay, I'm going to look inside this negative shape right here because I'm comparing this value to this, and this is darker. So I'm going to start defining that edge. Okay, so as far as like how many values you should be like maybe looking out for, I would simplify as much as you can to maybe like 3, light, medium, and dark. There's going to be some gradients. There's going to be some in-betweensies, which is cool. And then, okay, this is like nice. This is like butting up right against this wheel right here. And I'm using the water to kind of pull in this light value, but right next to it, there's a sliver of the light test value. Ooh. Okay, is this leg starting to look a little bit dimensional? I'm gonna get my dark value where these, the skate part is, or I'm sorry, the wheels. And then I'm gonna get this edge right here. And these rounds are really nice for getting like edges like that. All right, now I'm gonna be ready to establish, and there's these teeny tiny little highlights right here. I'm gonna establish this like dark shadow. That's gonna give this for sure some light logic and some depth. I'm gonna lighten this up a little bit because in comparison, this part is lighter. Following the contour of this shape. Again, that's probably my darkest value. So again, I'm gonna start to paint this in. I love this shadow right here of what I think is the lace, because it really kind of like makes sense that it's from like this lace hanging down. Okay. Connect it a little bit there. Okay, and I'm gonna look through here, see if there's any comparison. Move on to the other side. And again, I'm gonna start with my mediumist. Again, I'm squinting at this. That helps me see values. It goes from like dark to light right here. Okay, this is a little dark. So I'm going to use some tissue. That's too big. Okay, a little value right here. All right, now this negative space is a shade darker than this. I'm going to transition to my larger round brush and just kind of fill this in so that I can see that edge. I love when, you know, I use brushes to kind of find these edges. Blob, blob. Tiny baby reflection or highlight right here. I'm gonna get in this long. Man, someone's really belting it out next door in the theater. There's that. I'm still, oh man. Okay, I'm gonna take care of this happy little wheel right here. And I'm just gonna generally fill in the majority of this skate. But I'm gonna leave a sliver of that light value right there. Okay, I gotta take a little bit of a lean back right here. All right, a bit of a bummer is that I've got these like eraser shavings in my paint, but when this dries, it'll kind of wipe off. Okay. All right, so this is it. This is as far as I want to go. This video has been going on for 13 minutes. And if I wasn't doing like a video, I think I'd, probably spend a little bit more time on, nuance. Okay. But for the purposes of demo, oops, yeah, I want to do this. So I'll probably continue to kind of pick away at this. But again, this is my map. This is my roadmap of, hey, what's darker, what's lighter. Again, it's that backbone. And once you understand that, like I said earlier, this is going to have a lot more definition in the long run. We can be so enamored with color, but if we don't have value along with color, then things fall flat. And maybe you experienced some of that way, with using your colored pencils in your color pencil portrait. What is that? Okay. All right. I'm going to let this go for right now. I'm going to let some of this dry. I'm going to look at this again tomorrow because it is about 4:15 and I got to get home because I'm having Hawaii's pizza tonight. So I'm going to let this go. and let this dry, and you will see this tomorrow or the next time we're in class. Okay, bye.